XRP, H-bar, and a few different cryptocurrencies have started to warm this up. And I recognize the query a number of you are going to have is, why is that? Why is XRP seeing some fee movement? Is there a few big information? What precisely goes on in those markets? And what are we able to count on for XRP to do in this subsequent week, May, as much as none apart from Trump's inauguration? So we are helping to answer that. So I'm not going to fly through the meat and potatoes right now. Let's sit, pull the curtains back. Let's get to know XRP, Robert Sanger, a bit more. Well, there's a few truly cool matters occurring within the markets right now, which I know a whole lot of you are absolutely uninformed on, because I've looked via YouTube and no one else has speak me about this proper now. And genuinely, this is going to help you men get organized for, in all likelihood, making quite a few cash, in case you use the records I'm going to share with you guys correctly. Two records that have already been shared. The new cryptography record of 364, record number 1, attest 6.3. The new cryptography record of 322, record number 1, attest 6.3. So I need you guys to pay attention because there is plenty of actually thrilling market dynamics occurring all of a sudden. And I need to begin with this, okay? Because what we're seeing is a mixture of rising inflation, document OTE alternatives, and a 10-year be aware yield nearing 5%. We're seeing some similarities to the February 2008 Volmageddon occasion, which changed into a large market crash. Risks of a panic primarily based drop are rising every single day. Now, does this mean that the crypto markets are going to get destroyed? This is simply very unlikely, and I'm going to percentage why that is very quickly. I'm additionally going to provide an explanation for why we are seeing a ton of extant come into XRP and H-bar, especially truly speedy. But expertise, this dynamic is also simply crucial due to the fact this is going to come back into play a touch bit later on in 2025, and I do think numerous people are going to get caught off defend and possibly absolutely lose a lot of money as soon as this starts off Evolve to play out. So we are able to see Valva Get In refers to February 5th, 2018, while some exchange-traded merchandise, or ETPs, crashed 90% or greater because of volatility. Currently the market is beginning to expose a few similarities. Here is a headline from February of 2018, which now seems rather familiar. As inflation rebounds and the labor market strengthens, charge hike odds are rising. Bank of America has now declared rate cuts over in 2025, which odds of charge hikes being higher than cuts now officially being the case. Now, when you're in a kingdom of stagflation or inflation and unable to genuinely cope with an ongoing deficit and debt all in the same time, generally this isn't always a very good nation for any financial system to be into. And right now, the United States of America isn't always a quite fragile state. However, there's a few bullish information too I'll get into in a second. You can see even on Wednesday, the Fed meeting means were released and efficaciously referred to as out Trump's upcoming policies. The Fed mainly notes adjustments to change, immigration, fiscal and regulatory rules. The identical tax cuts that precipitated the Fed to hike in 2018 are predicted to be renewed. So this is a surely exciting dynamic that we're headed into. Now, we're going to be in a bull market with numerous liquidity and capital, and it is looking like the Fed might be going to maintain to raise charges. Now, what does this in reality mean? Well, whilst you genuinely study the hobby fee that many banks are imparting for car loans or for mortgages or credit scorecards, it without a doubt hasn't been decreased at all. They've kept them very excessive. And so the Fed announcing this doesn't surely play that a lot into the marketplace, as many human beings are believing. You realize in truth the banks are doing what they want to do, and they're not even genuinely paying attention to the Fed right now in any respect, because they're all separate entities, which is something that a whole lot of people do not genuinely. Now, with that being stated, we are able to see that the money market price range have now posted something definitely crazy. That's the most important inflow on the grounds that April of 2020, earlier than the last bull run. Now, if you observe this chart, you could see that the inflows on these money market fund flows are generally a clearly sturdy indicator of in which the marketplace is headed, in different words. Whilst we start hitting these absolutely excessive numbers, like what we noticed back here simply earlier than 2021, nicely, matters approximately to get quite loopy. This comes as Fed price reduce expectations appreciably declined due to resurgent inflation, and the marketplace is now pricing just rate cuts for the whole 12 months of 2025, down from 6, which is what we had been thinking lower back in September. As a result, US money marketplace fund belongings hit a record of $6, 9 trillion. Better for longer is formally lower back in complete swing. What this indicates is the markets have loads of liquidity available to them, and it is searching like that liquidity is about to get a huge bump within the subsequent couple of months, very further to what we noticed lower back in 2020. In truth, we may want to likely be seeing all-time facts surpassing even 2020 very quickly here. Now, because of this, what we're seeing is lots of shifting average technical signs are pointing toward an extremely robust buying signal. For some few cryptocurrencies which might be thoroughly set up within the marketplace proper now, namely XRP and HBAR. It's very rare which you get a shifting average on any time frame. This is displaying 1 neutral and 14 effective buy signals. And this was something that changed into showing simply earlier than the large quantity of fee appreciation XRP has simply visible. But we could also see the equal factor for HBAR proper now. There's really an excellent purpose for that. Big things are happening right now for HBAR. You can see Nvidia, which has a market cap of 306 trillion, just released the Blackwell platform for AI, which is imparting up to 25x efficiency and jogging big language models. Expected shipments are among 600 0 to 700 0 devices, probably producing over $210 billion in sales. NVIDIA, along with Intel and EQ2T Labs, has partnered with HBAR for the verifiable compute, specializing in enhancing AI governance and transparency during this entire technique. And HBAR is going to end up a really vital part of AI governance and transparency inside the future. I suppose it is actually going to be monumental. It's going to be a need, and I think governments are going to begin saying that HBAR must be a part of the AI governance councils inside the future, so as for numerous those AI merchandise to even operate at all. Because if HBAR isn't always doing that, from a protection standpoint, those AIs can do matters that might potentially be risky for the American human beings. That's insane. The amount of software that HBAR is imparting and the quantity of transparency it's offering is unseen. Well, back to you. And that is a whole other use case for cryptocurrency that many people simply formally have been no longer definitely watching for. And so that is why I suppose you guys should certainly be paying close attention to those software primarily based products proper now like HBAR and XRP and XLM, simply as more than one examples. We can see that a number of people are thinking that HBAR is extremely undervalued due to what is occurring right here. And so allows speak approximately the market's real brief, because you know what XRP is doing right now is nothing quick of astonishing. I suggest you take a look at the complete marketplace proper right here, and maximum cryptocurrencies are struggling to even get 1% gains in a single day. Bitcoin is down 0.17, Ethereum is down 0.53, and XRP right here is up almost 10% on an afternoon. This is extraordinarily bullish. And when you study the volume numbers, XRP is getting extensively greater volume than Solana, than Cardano, than any single different altcoin. This is inside the market proper now. Even in some 15-minute charts, it is significantly surpassing Ethereum, which is absurd. You have Ethereum that's more than a few cryptocurrency with hundreds of billions in marketplace capitalization, it truly is, now having to compete without any other than XRP, and there's therefore exportation of derivatives to finance the idea of an altcoin for a number of different people. I do agree, I think it's a national policy issue. We need to know what the standard is where the marketplace happily is living on, but politically this is extraordinarily bullish because we're taking back custody. This is insanely brilliant. It's going to happen regardless of whether you like it or don't like it, or be built or be stolen. This is extraordinarily brilliant. It's going to happen regardless of whether you like it or don't like it, or be built or be stolen. This is extraordinarily brilliant. We're running into it very rapidly. XRP is eating up a ton of marketplace share, as is HBAR, and so it's time, men. It's time to get truly bullish. It's time to absolutely apprehend that this week's going to be huge. Now, what is riding this quantity? Well, largely it is institutions, and I need to expose you men something. On this proper here, we saw about 866 million quantity in a 15-minute period of time, as consistent with the SMA right here. So we're looking here at 19.6 billion in a quantity in a 15-minute period of time, as consistent with the SMA right here, on Us.Thankx right here, 50 million.